This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk4Me.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I am your host, Summer Helene, and we are on with my co-host, the baddest bear in the cage.
Ooh, you haven't called me that in a minute.
Be here.
Oh, don't do that. It's like, oh, you gave me a good compliment and you took it away.
Bear Fiorda.
Woo, hey, how's everyone going today? How's everyone doing today? Where is everyone
My
going today?
tiara
Write it in
hasn't
the
come in.
comments.
I ordered a tiara and it hasn't come in, and I'm very irritated.
Did you order it? I ordered this one.
No. I ordered it.
Okay.
I'm really irritated. It was not cheap.
Did you get it through FedEx or UPS? That's important, because UPS, they'll deliver to you on like a silver platter. FedEx will kick it over our fence at some point when it gets here.
Gratefully, my brother works in jewelry, so if it's kicked over the fence, I can have it fixed.
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm actually trying to find an old tiara.
Why do you want to find an old tiara?
I like tiaras.
I mean, they're pretty, don't get me wrong, but why an old one?
The older they are, the better they are. The difference between, for those that don't know, Americans tend to count jewelry in carats.
Yes, we do.
Where I come from, we count it in centuries. It's more valuable based on its age than the carat itself or its history. So a diamond cut, steel cut tiara with no diamonds in it from the Napoleonic court is worth more than a diamond tiara today.
I could see that. I could see that all across all things. If I get some like Roman laurels from wherever versus a diamond ring today, it's probably worth more for the history.
But it's because you guys don't have antiques here. I think you guys are only 200 years old. So antiques,
yeah, we don't have American antiques.
No, you do. You have things that are 100 years old. But it's very, very different. And one of the things we were talking about, which is why I'm here with absolutely no makeup on, I look like I'm dead.
You're stunning.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Is we were talking last week, and it's something I wanted to continue, was talking about you're not poor, you're not ugly, you're just poor.
Oh, we've been talking about that for some time now, though.
But that was one of the comments, is it's very easy when you come on with makeup and you come on with all this stuff on your face to say that. But the truth is, I've had laser treatments. I have Botox currently, hence I can't move my head. I have eyelash extensions.
You had such a severe treatment at one point that your head looked like grids. That was that.
That was the laser treatment.
It has a name, doesn't it? Like a specific one.
That was a CO2 laser.
CO2 laser.
And that was by Dr. Haida.
Oh, she did a great job.
She did an amazing job.
Over Renaissance MD. If you're, ladies out there, if you want any work, gentlemen out there, if you want any work done, that is the place to go. But wow, that was I mean, your skin came out great. The process was scary. The swelling and everything. It's a commitment.
But my skin looks beautiful.
That is true.
And that's the difference. So what I'm trying to stress to people, because I have a lot of young women and you have a lot of young men that turn around and say, well, you look like that. I know you're on today. You don't have your usual powder. You don't have your usual stuff on today.
No, I do not.
And so if you could move closer to the camera, something I want to discuss with people is the toll. Yeah, gets closer. Show them near your eyes. The toll that MMA takes on your body. Now, Bear has no Botox. He has no any of that. You do have had a scratch on your nose for days. But you can see that you have discoloration from the sun. You have scarring from where he was kneed in the face.
I have like lines.
You have lines. Yep. So what happens though is he comes on here and he puts on a bit of powder and he puts something in to fill in the second half of his eyebrow because he's bald.
Let's not lie. You put powder on me because you're so much better than I do. If I do powder, it's going to be in my beard, on my shirt. It's not going to be where it needs to be.
I put powder on him.
Yeah, she's a very
we fill in the second half of his eyebrow. So even he doesn't look like himself. If you look at him without the tweakments, when he's not on a carpet, his ears are red. He uses eye creams, he uses lotions, he uses sunscreen, not as much as he should. And he uses all of these things to look more attractive because he works in media. Yeah, because he models, because he acts, because he does all of these things. So it makes a very, very different a different outcome. When in my case, I'm I've made a lot of money over the years, and where I choose to put it is in my face.
Well, look, it pays off. But here's the thing as well. You want to be able to preserve and look good throughout the year. As a cage fighter, I want to look decent when I'm in my 40s, and if I don't take care of myself, I won't be able to. But that, can you explain a little bit more about how money actually plays into that role? Because everyone can afford a lotion. I don't mean
lotion doesn't do. I mean, you have to use lotion.
Yeah.
The most important thing you can use on yourself, male or female, is sunscreen. But the way that it plays in is simply the accessories you can get. I can afford to take care of my hair. I can afford to get my eyebrows waxed. I can afford to get a bikini wax. I can afford to do the things that make me more attractive. I can afford decent clothing. I can afford good food. I can afford a personal trainer. And that makes all the difference. I know Bear did not grow up with money. That's a nice way of putting it.
Well,
you grew up with a mom that worked an extra job to keep you in martial arts.
That is the case. And I had a very, very good mother. She worked very hard.
She's incredible. It's not a slight.
A great life.
What I'm saying is you didn't grow up with a lot of money.
No.
But since you've come into media, for you, it's got to be a bit different. What is the differences you notice when you're near, kind of the models and the women in entertainment versus the girls you grew up with?
I'll tell you right now, I don't really know a lot about their home beauty routines. I know they do have to use a lot of makeup for the shows, or depends on what they need. But when they do come in, it feels like a lot of their money, effort, and time does go into taking care of their skin and bodies. Regardless of what they could afford or not, that appears to be where a large part of their regular budget is going, is grooming themselves. But I think that's also important in life, to try and present your best foot forward whenever you walk out of your house.
But if you have 3 children on a minimum wage job, a tin of lotion is your luxury. You're not going to put $4,000 in Botox in your forehead.
No,
I've heard. What is it? Allegedly. No, wait, it's me. I can say that.
We're not all Kim Kardashian paying for our $30,000 facials and whatnot.
I will say, but here's also the thing. Kim Kardashian doesn't pay for that. And when you work in media, you don't always have to pay for that, because people want the association. A lot of what, I've had done has been gifted to me. In my purse right now, I have gift certificates for a few $100s just to go get a facial that I haven't bothered to use, that I got when we went to a fashion show.
Yeah.
So, and it was a lovely gift, but I haven't used it, and I re-gifted most of them to people I know. Money affects everything. You are the culmination of your 3 closest friends. So if your 3 closest friends are losers, you'll be a loser.
And if they don't take care of your skin, you also will not take care of your skin. You kind of fall into that, how they act is how you act. As you become more like that person. But it's
like training. What if the 3 guys, the people you hang out with the most, I'm going to pour some tea.
Okay.
The most successful guys in your industry, you hang out with very successful people. Which means you're going to Pan Am. You're doing all of this. You're actually set for a fight with one of the biggest names in sports.
Yeah.
You're going to be fighting Sensei Seth coming up. You have all of these options that wouldn't be around or allowed to you if you weren't hanging out with, Sam Alvey, Joe Stevenson.
Yeah, the right people, the people who are really behind the scenes, kind of putting all the different shows together.
Thank you for my tea, darling.
But I think that all ties into the same point. When you take care of yourself, including the people who are around you, when you are, I guess, making sure you have the best people who align with your interests. That all goes in the same category of making you the best person today, which also plays back into taking care of your body and skin when you present yourself to anyone you meet for the first time, or when you go on a job, or when you go on set, or even just showing up for a fight. Now, obviously, don't do it on weigh-ins, but afterwards, you can look pretty messed up.
Awful. Yeah, you look awful during weigh-ins.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I will say this: people are seeing things differently. If you look at right now, people are being fired. A bunch of Gen Zers are being fired because they're trying to do the office siren thing in real life, which is where you dress sexy to go to an office.
Siren.
It's an aesthetic from TikTok.
So just dressing good, or intentionally dressing like you're trying to get attention.
Slutty librarian. And they can't figure out why they're being fired.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really feel comfortable commenting on people's choice in clothing, but if you're going against company policy, then you should expect to see reprimands. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, if you are dressed like a hoe and you aren't showing respect to yourself or your team members because you have decided to continue to dress like a hoe, I am not sure what you want me to do for you.
No. Well, here's the thing. How does that kind of go into the same thing where you're not ugly, you're just poor?
That is very much a you're just poor.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is my complaint this week is my tiara's not in yet.
Yes.
That's not right or fair. That's certainly not how Bear grew up. That's not how most people grow up. That's my biggest complaint.
Okay. You can still be wrong,
I'm not. But the reality is I know how to dress. I know what fork to use. I actually do a whole thing with that I put online.
Yes, you do.
Of manners. And the reason is the largest class divide is manners. I can look at somebody and tell you what socioeconomic bracket you grew up with. I can tell you how wealthy your friends are, and I can tell you how wealthy you are. And it's because we are raised with a class divide. Where I come from, it's not racism, it's classism. And the reality is, if you marry poor or you marry somebody with debt, you take on that debt, and that will affect you for life. I constantly tell young women and men, marry up.
Yeah. But hey, that's a good question, actually. If you guys are very classist, how do you marry up at that point? What are you relying on?
Somebody falling in love with you.
And you can't do it if you got bad skin.
But that's the difference. That's why your aesthetic is so important.
I think I feel weird because I kind of want to combat with that a little bit. I don't necessarily believe in this class system. I think it's detrimental. I think it's why we have the divides we have right now in both our political system and our social system.
You have the divides right now because you guys started an oligarchy.
Yes, but we wouldn't get there without the whole class system, right? At least that's how I feel. That's my perception. I'm
going to say this, and I always tell people when someone says, trust me, don't say trust me. What do you say?
Our wonderful sound engineer wrote in our chat, as a man, marrying up means sugar mama.
I'm not opposed to that.
I'm not opposed
Go
to
get
it.
your sugar
get
mama.
Your bag.
Get your bag. I wouldn't date Bear if he wasn't beneficial to my career. He wouldn't date me if I wasn't beneficial to his. If I was detrimental to your career, would you want to be with me?
No, but our relationship isn't. Like, if you were detrimental to me and then paying me thousands of dollars a week, I'd have to think about it, But I wouldn't. My thing is, that's not our relationship. We both benefit each other. We bring each other up to support each other's careers.
That is not very true. My ruby necklace is not coming yet.
Both of them are coming in us. That's something separate. I bought you a gift. The company's dragging their ass to send it to us.
The point is, everything, all these money markers, people know. But now those money markers are available because of things like social media. The class divide is getting smaller. So you see food is really becoming inaccessible to poorer people. They eat a lot more McDonald's. So fresh fruits and vegetables are being used as tablescapes for people like the Kardashians. The Kardashians, of course, are now the face of overblown wealth.
That's so detached.
And boy, they're on the out. Oh my God.
And Meghan Markle too. So detached from her fruit tray in her episode 1 of her new show. With Love Megan or whatever.
Don't get me wrong. I was raised with a substantial amount of privilege, but my father was in the Navy. This wasn't like, I was raised with a lot of privilege, but sweet Jesus, the level of new money opulence that they're pushing is foul. I think Alexis is about ready.
Super unhappy with it, actually. Your face is saying everything your words are. You're following along perfectly with just I'm not so foul. And you're right. But you're right.
Don't like. So you've got things like Road Beauty, where you've got her whole Road Beauty.
What's Road Beauty?
Road Beauty is owned by Justin Bieber's baby mama / wife. Hailey
It's
Bieber.
a company. All right, got it. Go ahead.
So Road Beauty brilliantly is using the aesthetics of food to tie into the makeup. The packaging has gotten so bland. Everyone's gotten into like this new money dressing. By the way, I don't know where this like old money dressing. That is not how old money dresses. Good God. Have you looked at us? Like, really? We wear bright colored clothing, usually monochromatic, and we show off the cut more than the color. Everyone's doing this camel beige thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, we don't wear that. I don't know where they're coming up with this.
I think it's less about nowadays. It's less about old money, and it's more about, I would say, professional money. Like, you don't want the trend is not showing off your wealth, just having wealth.
That's not got anything to do with what I'm saying.
What are you talking about?
So old money doesn't show off wealth.
Yeah,
it just
that's
has
fine.
It. New money likes to show it off. What I'm saying is, when the most opulent dresses, look at the Queen. She wore lime green and pink.
It's true.
The reality
she does
is,
have her statement pieces.
Rest her soul. I mean, she did. The current queen and king, it's always monochromatic. So everyone's into this new money, like blah, blah, blah. But when I look at somebody who's doing like the old money aesthetic, I know you don't have money. Would you see if she's ready to come on? I know you don't have money. I know you're poor.
You're really harsh today, by the way. You're not. Listen, I'm not trying to argue with
this
you.
Is so you know. Wow. This is how I speak on a day to day. And Bear's like, I need you to tone it back and be less of a bitch for the show.
I didn't say it. You said it.
He didn't use the word bitch. There. Is that better?
No, and because I wouldn't. That's disrespectful.
I know. Shout out, by the way, to our sponsors. Shout out to Bellamy Hair Extensions. Thank you very, very much. KM Extends, Tiny Bubbles Hair Salon. Our giveaway is from Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California. If you are following us and you are following Kink4Dummies, please remember this is an 18 and over show. Then we are excited to have you here.
Are you going to do my time for my
yes,
one?
Your push.
Embassy Suites by Hilton in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll never forget this hotel. They're the best hotel out there. You guys should go there if you're ever in Phoenix.
I'll be there and you won't. You're going to be in Mexico.
Yeah, I'll be in Mexico. I have a 5 days of cage fights in Monterrey, Mexico.
And I'll be at Phoenix.
You'll be at Phoenix Comic-Con. It's the first time I've missed it in like a decade.
Oh, well.
I've been going since 2017 on. I've gone with you every single year at Phoenix Comic-Con.
Do you want to check the comments? I don't mind. It's fine. I'll find somebody else to take with
me.
You'll
find someone to replace me.
Yeah, I need somebody to lay in bed with me and itch my back.
You can't go. No, you can sit on stage with her and talk about Hollywood. You don't get to do that. What kind of advertisement is this?
Oh no, I'm picky about who gets to be in on the panel with me. I just need someone
scratching your back.
That's fine. That's your best job.
That's all I do.
Well, no, you're on the panel too, but I can replace that. The back's important.
You know, at least I'm good at something. I'll take it. You get your wins where you can.
All right. We have on the show today Kink4Dummies.
G'day.
Hi, welcome.
Yes.
That was actually one of the best good days I've heard. There's not a porno picture of my father behind her. I'm actually very impressed.
No, it's up there still.
Oh, good. Of course.
Just hanging around. Now, we've had you on the show quite a few times, so please tell everyone who you are and what you do.
My name is Alexis Romero. I am the founder of the Kink4Dummies community.
I thought you were going to add another word to that. I'm sorry. So the Kink4Dummies community, what does that do for people?
It is an educational platform talking about different kinks, fetishes, how to introduce people into the BDSM community.
Nice. Okay. Oh, you went sideways on us. What happened there?
It keeps doing this. Sorry.
Well, that's quite all right. At least we can still hear you. You know that counts.
It's fine. So I'm telling you, this is, again, money matters. Mm-hmm. And when I say you're the culmination of your three best friends, hear me out on this. If 50 Shades of Grey was an episode of CSI, it would be because the man was poor. As soon as you make that man poor and in a trailer park, it's no longer a gorgeous porno. It's now a CSI episode.
Didn't she agree though in that movie? She was like for it. I thought that was the idea that she signed or whatever.
SVU.
Yeah, SVU, no, yes.
Back to the sound engine. He's right. It's SVU. That's how it lands on SVU. He's right. It's SVU.
Well, you know, this is interesting. Do you think that money plays a role in BDSM in any way?
Sex always sells.
Mm-hmm. Isn't there a whole category of people that just like you to spend their money, and where do I meet them?
Yeah, the FinDom community.
Okay,
the financial domination.
Excellent. And do you have somebody that wants to buy me jewelry?
I don't, but I'm sure you can find it on a couple of the fetish sites.
Excellent. I don't want them touching me, looking at me, or speaking to me. Just I want to spend their money.
Actually, I did meet this one guy. He's sitting to your left.
Where the hell is he?
We're on my left. Well, it's backwards.
I thought I was having some fun with that one. Yeah. No, it's not just about spending my money. I spend plenty of money on you. You spend money on me. You're very kind. We work together very, very well. But you want someone who will just purely give you just oodles of cash.
Yes.
And nothing back.
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Because
if I'm not sleeping with somebody, it's not infidelity.
That counts as infidelity for me.
How is somebody giving me their money? I want you
let's
guys. Let's
question.
ask. No, okay. I'm going to also ask the. So that's going to be our question for today. Well, Alexis writes herself. Clearly, she's not capable of using a phone. That seems to be what's happening on here.
I'm not quite sure why it keeps switching, and I apologize for that.
I'm just having
it's
fun.
Making it interesting for the audience.
I'd like to point out she works in media. This is somebody who controls what you watch on television.
Listen,
and she can't work a phone.
She makes decisions better than those old guys, right? The ones who are in their 90s now.
I like the old guys.
I like Jim Henson too, but I don't think Jim Henson should be still.
So he's dead. But the reality is,
when?
Years ago.
Oh my God, I feel like I'm so out of touch. I did not know.
Like a decade ago.
Wow,
you fool.
Really? Okay.
So more than a decade. We have wrong sounding Muppets. I think it was like the 90s. But essentially,
now I'm out of touch.
You're always
way out of touch.
Yeah, no kidding.
So how is it infidelity? I'm not doing anything you find inappropriate. I'm not touching anyone, kissing anyone. Nothing is entering any orifice. All they're doing is buying me diamonds.
You know what? Maybe the expert can tell. How do people identify infidelity? What does it mean?
Tea.
I'm not quite sure what the exact definition is, but I think it is established between each partner on what your definition of infidelity is.
So
I
decide that that's infidelity.
I decide you not giving me money is infidelity.
Have you established the parameters of what infidelity is?
Yes.
I just added one.
Oh, we have. He's not very good at following them.
Shots fired.
I know. He's not. Clearly, we have established it, and he's not currently giving me money. I've just said that's my parameter.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'll give you more money if you agree to the boundaries of not trying to get it from somebody else.
Sure.
All right. Hey,
how much do I get to decide on?
I'm
how
not
much?
debating price with you on that. You'll get your bonuses and you'll get your pay raise in due time.
I think she demands like a $10,000 a month allowance.
I agree.
No, this is not like your Elon Musk side chick, okay? This is Home Depot,
and
please. You get your 75 cents. You'll get your 75 cents pay raise every year.
First of all, Home Depot sucks as a payer. Second of all, if Elon Musk's side chick is only getting $10,000 a month, she should kill herself.
I don't think. Well, listen, $10,000 a month. You don't have to do anything. The guy's often
apparently Alexis
lands.
Cannot get that right. Alexis, dear, why don't you just leave it in that parameter?
Yeah, that's
I'm just I'm astounded. This person cannot use technology.
Listen, to her defense, she doesn't have to control technology. She has to tell people who control technology what to do.
Valid point.
We have a dictionary definition of infidelity, actually. Thank you to our wonderful sound engineer playing a big role in the show today. I love you, dude. Mm-hmm. The action or state of being unfaithful to a spouse or other sexual partner. Her infidelity continued after her marriage was the example quote.
Okay, so I'm allowed to continue my infidelity after marriage.
I love that's what she got from that.
Now, tell everyone about Kink4Dummies.
Like I said, Kink4Dummies is an educational platform. It's essentially a way for people to either introduce themselves and their partners into the kink community with actual educational premises.
How did you get involved in doing that? What made you decide to do that? That's a very, very niche. I know in your off time. So for those that don't know, Alexis and I work together. Alexis is a dominatrix for fun in the off time. This isn't something she does for money, which I think is a waste of time, but whatever, she should be charging. She's a dominatrix in her off time for fun.
I got into it mainly because of 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, you loved it that much, huh?
Got it. It was the best. So that is the work of what BDSM should be understood.
Backwards step.
No, that was not it. And you were there when all of this started.
Yeah, there was some screaming involved.
There was a lot of screaming involved.
And not like sexy screaming. She was really upset.
I think that there was so much misinformation out there on what the kink community is about, the way to get introduced to it, the different things that you can do.
You have parent issues or you have mommy or daddy issues and then you sleep with one of your parents' friends. What's wrong with that?
That is not how that works.
That is apparently how it worked in 50 Shades of Grey.
But you know what? Even with that, you can have probably millions of people saw that and thought that's ridiculous and went about the day and just never promoted again. You decided you want to tell people and educate them about how to do it properly, what BDSM is,
because it's
what
important
kink
to her.
really means. Yeah. But that's what I want to know. Why was it so important for you that you wanted to educate basically the world about it?
I think that I personally found it offensive because people were then judging an entire community without any educational background of knowing what BDSM is, knowing how to get introduced into it. So I found it personally offensive, and I was like, okay, well, there's so much information out there that is correct. And I personally have done a ton of research on different things. So putting out correct information was important for me.
That's fair. You know, I noticed that too as a content creator, you sometimes stumble across new ideas or concepts that you may not know about that you want to talk. And so that causes you to research and that broadens your horizons. So I resonate that a lot because you're constantly on a search for what is better for this certain act. How do I avoid injury here?
This is what you need to put on that red pill channels. You were looking before at you. So for those who don't know, Bear also runs a side channel called Bear the Good, where he talks about essentially how to be a man. It's in response to the whole Andrew Tate of the world. And essentially, the red pill community is really into adult entertainment, and they have no real concept of what sex is. So I really think, Lex, maybe what you need to do is target the red pill community. And the reason I say that is I was watching The Click last night. For those that don't know, shout out to The Click.
A wonderful YouTuber.
And he was talking about a guy freaking out who was very much an incel, who said his girlfriend wasn't aroused because her breasts did not produce milk. And the reason women's breasts produce milk is it comes from the semen in men. So if a woman's breast isn't producing milk, you can just feed the baby directly from the source.
I'm just so confused.
I'll send you the video, but these are the things you need to be responding
with that first idea if you're just an idiot. That second idea, you're a fucking predator. You can't convince me otherwise.
I'd like to remind everyone, whenever there's bad language, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and Free MMA. We swear because Bear's angry and because we care.
Fuck yeah. I'm just saying, like, what's your opinion on that, on what we just talked about, that you can feed the baby from the source?
I'm just so confused.
Oh,
how do those even... I don't even know how that would work.
I'll explain it to you after the show. It goes into...
I'm just dumbfounded
different types
right
of
now.
Yeah, I couldn't possibly...
Different types of philias. But the reality is, why would you... My thing is, you think a woman's breast... and these guys think that when a girl gets her period, her breasts also fill with milk.
Why is everything milk related? I don't understand.
That's my point. Like I'm like,
yeah, that's a lot of.
But sex education's doing so well. Yep, the sex education's doing so well in America that a bunch of girls were told if you find a lump in your breast, you have cancer. They felt their areola and there are small ducts there. They decided that they must have cancer and went running, freaking out. That is, congratulations, America, on your sex education.
Well, they also had the teachers that were getting fired in the South for teaching sex education, specifically how to put on condoms and that sort of thing.
They did have a wonderful teacher who turned around and taught the boys by putting a sock on his foot.
Yeah, a wonderful physical education coach had gone through that of how to basically put a condom on, but made it out like
pinch the toe of your sock, roll the sock on, and you put the sock on anytime you are going to engage in shoe activity.
I think that's brilliant on so many levels.
It's brilliant, but it's horrifying. It's horrifying that that's a thing. Do you think the lack of sexual education in America and the taboo of sex is why people are so uncomfortable with kink in America?
I think that's part of it. I think that not having the information about what kink and fetishes and BDSM and all of what sex is in general, I think with the younger generation, you're having them not being educated about sex, them being delayed on wanting to start any sexual activity, them being so inundated with pornography that I think it's a accumulation of a lot of things.
It's true. Younger generations are having less sex than older generations.
Yeah.
Most people lose their virginity between 16 and 18. Now the average is between 18 and 20. the
I honestly think that's
number
a bad thing, though, right? Just for it to
It's-
be old, that's kind of a little more responsible.
It's no, and it's not in a bad way. The reason they're not doing it is they don't have the social outlets, and they're seeking pornography rather than partners.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's not a matter of age. It's more got to do with a pressure to have sex. We went from a time. I mean, I'm a millennial. My generation had less sex than Gen X. Gen X had less sex than the baby boomers. The baby
boomers were all over the place.
The baby boomers were the children of the horniest generation in the world because they went to war. They thought they were going to die, so everyone was doing everyone.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, we are having less sex than we've ever had. And historically, I mean, as a species, we've changed. The advent of the light bulb made sure of it. We used to sleep cyclically, which means we'd sleep for 4 to 6 hours, wake up, eat, clean up, have sex, go back to bed for 4 to 6 hours, get up when the sun comes up. That's kind of the natural cycle of humans.
Right.
Unfortunately, the advent of the light bulb meant we could work through the night. So we gapped all of our sleeping into this 1 8-hour period, which is very unhealthy. You should sleep cyclically, but it is what it is.
I'd say more than that, it's fire in general. Just the creation of light probably allowed people to start doing that.
It allowed you to do some at night, but the fire kept animals away, so you slept sounder. The light bulb meant you could work. The electric light bulb meant you could work through the night.
Okay, I see what you're saying now.
Factory work became shift work.
Yeah,
that's just historically what happened. And with that, there was actually a decrease in the amount of sex that people had. And every generation since then, the amount of sex they've had has decreased.
Wait, okay, this is
the number of partners increased, the amount of sex decreased.
This is a good point then to bring this up. Do you think that the lack of sex is actually negatively impacting our society and people of younger generations, or will this have a positive impact?
I think it's negatively affecting. It also means that you're going to be, people are procreating much less than they normally would.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, really, procreation in America has become a political divide.
Well, I think more so my opinion was like, does this allow people to get more things done? Are they more productive not having as much sex? Or is it taking away from people because they're not interacting with each other as much on a more intimate level?
I think we're also very detached because you also have people that are dating online predominantly. They feel that they can say whatever because they're not personally there. They're going out on dates less. You hear about people that will talk to people on Tinder for weeks and never go on a date.
I think I agree with all of that. Something I will say, I think people are more detached. And I think the advent of adult content online has led to some serious catfishing, has led to all of this. And so where people would... I mean, you're a beefy, fit guy. You like female.
Wait, me or Alexis?
You.
Okay.
You like female attention very, very much. You're very flirty. You like to be around people, and part of your flex, and part of the reason you did all of this is for women. You can like it or not like it. Okay, you know that money is important to me, so you make an effort to make more money. You know that being fit is and attractive to women is important to you. So you work on your physique. The reality is sex is a motivator. We were talking in the beginning of the show about beauty and skincare and all the money that goes into it. Why do that? It's simply pushing the bounds of mating markers. Why do I want to have nice skin? Because it shows that I'm healthy. Why do I want nice white eyes? Because it shows that I'm healthy. Why do I have eyelash extensions? Because these are health markers, but really they're fertility markers.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see it.
And so with people being less and less interested in that, we have two different camps forming. You have the trad wife, everything's about the man. All I'm doing is this, these sex markers, but I have no education. Then you have the women going in the other camp. I'm taking away any sexual characteristic and focused on my mind, never having children. Unfortunately, the dumbest always breed. We've all seen Idiocracy. But when you look at corn taking over from real sex, it's going to leave only the dumbest and poorest breeding.
Idiocracy.
Yes.
Idiocracy. That's a good point, actually. How do you feel yourself porn impacts people of all ages, regardless of when they pick it up?
I think that there's been several studies that have shown that it has a negative impact on the brain. It negatively impacts relationships. I think that if you want to incorporate it into relationships, like that is definitely something that a lot of people do. But I think that if you have to use that as a stimulant rather than interacting with your partner, then it's a different discussion to be had.
I think the amount of sex has seriously declined because it is easier to, watch porn, expect nothing from it. I mean, especially the women in porn, they don't expect anything. So for men as well, they're not learning about female anatomy. They think just shoving it in is going to arouse somebody.
Yeah.
It's essentially setting everyone up for disaster.
No, it's especially when you start at a young age. I started watching at a young age, and that's all I understood was whatever I learned from those videos. And, it took a long time to kind of like get past that mindset of like, this is another human being that has needs, wants, and desires, and you have to treat them that level of respect if you want to get anywhere with them.
Well, and that's it. And because of that, you avoid pornography.
100%. It's detrimental to everyone's life. It's detrimental to especially the young men that watch it, because I think it's more than anyone else. Pornography is kind of pushed, and I say it like that because YouTube is kind of pushed onto young men, like increasingly younger men. And even OF, I think, has become a really divisive platform because sure, there's adults that may want to buy this specific creator's content, but we know that it's going to be teenage boys. We know that who are going to get like their first credit card or their mom's card or whatever and buy this stuff.
Even our show is 18 and over, and most of our viewers are not 18. The reality is people want what they can't have, and the adult film industry, and I've distributed for them, rely on the fact that it's underage people because they're told they can't have it. And they are absolutely intentionally the same as those microtransaction games, the pay-to-plays will charge you in the game. Yeah. All of this is for that dopamine release. And I'm the worst offender. I do this in all my product. It's designed to hook you. It's what I do for a living. And so I look at adult content, I look at games, I look at all of this, and it's designed to create that dopamine hit. And once you have a dopamine hit from that phone that requires nothing from you,
you'll keep going back. Well,
there was a great video we watched not too long ago. Would you put it up on Bear the Goods?
Yeah, I'll put it up on Bear the Goods for people to see. Do you want to explain it though?
No, you explain it.
So it's essentially about, I think you'll get a kick out of this too. It's about a knight that essentially trains really hard every single day. He's the talk of the town, has all the women after him. And I think you may have seen it. And he discovers this ghost in his room one night that says, I'll show you whatever you want. I'll display an image for you in real time. And eventually it goes from like seeing a great warrior, seeing what he's going to be like in future, to essentially just porn all day long. That's all he would watch. And so he eventually trained less, put less effort into it. Other knights came along and stole the women who initially wanted him. And at some point, the ghost reveals itself to be the devil, saying, oh, hey, I was here to distract you from your duties so I can send a monster to destroy your town, which ends up being the pornography infecting people's lives and destroying their lives because they no longer put effort into anything else.
And that's essentially it. It's not just adult content. It's people scrolling. It's people looking, even
doom
people,
scrolling, mind-numbing activity.
But even people looking at content that's meant to help them, when you're watching this content to inspire you, but then you do nothing, it gives you that false sense of accomplishment.
It does.
It's about making sure you actually do something with it.
You can endlessly make a to-do list of things that you're going to do, but if you're only ever making the to-do list, you're never going to get anything done.
Pretty much.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, for people who out there who are still hooked on pornography, who don't really know how to interact with people of the opposite sex or same sex, whatever they're interested in, do you have any advice for what they could be doing to kind of help themselves get out of that position and make real connections with people?
Get out. Literally get out into the world. Find different groups to join.
Learn where the clitoris is.
Yeah, that too. But literally find people that are interested, find hobbies, find something that you're interested in, because there's people that are also going to be interested in what you're into.
You have to, that's it. You have to have the social interaction. Now, you're putting up a, whatchamacallit, do you want you're putting up this content so that people get to know each other, so that people get to know what's good in a relationship, what's not. Why do you think kink, because that is now so integrated with adult content, has gotten such a bad rap? And not just now, it's always gotten a bad rap. What's he saying? Hit the gym.
Our sound engineer said, hit the gym every time you feel like watching pornography.
That's a good idea. It'll give you that same dopamine hit. Yep. Actually, psychologically, that's an excellent idea.
And you may meet somebody.
Hey, there you go. It's a great way to increase your social interactions as well.
I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
So we'll go on to a different one. Because
I've got one. I've been saving this one.
Okay.
What about people who are dating AIs?
I don't understand it. I think that I know that there's people that are into things like that, but why would you not want to date an actual person? Like it's nobody that you can ever physically touch.
But it's the same thing as anything else. I can actually answer that. There's no effort. Why does everyone say they want to be in the entertainment industry, then find out how much work it is and don't want to do it? Why does everyone want to be a cage fighter? Find out how much work it is and then don't want to do it. You have a job that lets you go all over the world. You get to deal with celebrities and kings. You work 12 to 14 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Yes.
Do you think people really want the work that takes to get there? If I can have an AI boyfriend, I get my dopamine hit and be told I'm pretty, there's a part of my brain that knows it's not real, so it's going to undermine my confidence, so I'm not going to want to deal with real men.
Yeah.
But it at least gives me that dopamine hit.
Reality, you've been replaced by AI.
No, she's just not confident in talking to me anymore. It's all it took for me. I will make it easier on you and interact with you additionally throughout the day.
Darling, I get hit on by men all the time, but it's because I'm around men.
That's true.
You get hit on by men and women, and it's because you're around them.
Man, our tech is on the ball today. Can you imagine the arguments with an AI girlfriend? You will never win.
You can't win with a woman anyway, but I'm going to go with him and double down on that.
I feel like you almost would have to ask, like, hey, I feel like I need to fight with you today about something. Can you please start a needless argument with me? And just let the AI go.
I'm the thing with AI though is you're getting your needs met without having to put in any work. It's the same as adult content. You don't have to know where the clitoris is. You don't have to know where the emotional clitoris is. You don't have to know how to treat your partner. Like, as much as I'm joking with Bear, he very, very sweetly got me this gorgeous jewelry set. I'm really excited for it. Coming in. Alexis actually found it. And so I'm super excited by this coming in, and I'm waiting on it and all of that. But the effort and the money that it takes to keep a partner happy, well, why not go for AI? Because you don't have to buy them a ruby necklace.
Because that was a choice. I think if I had shown up with flowers one day, it would be similar interaction, because it's just it's making that person your face. It's making that person feel important and loved, And with AI, you don't have to do that. You can pretend a little bit like coming back and asking the AI how its day was, because it might be designed to answer those questions, but it's not another person. You can never really connect with them.
I think I look at it this way. Everyone right now has a huge crush on His Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, because he just did this event where he pulled off his jacket and they're like, oh, wow, he's buff. I was like, look at his wife. Of course he's buff. Like, these are two people that are into very physical activity. With the Queen gone, he's allowed to wear a beard now. She didn't like beards. So his father's allowing him to have a beard. So he looks like all manly. And everyone's now really into the Prince of Wales, but they don't know him.
It's true. They
know him from a distance. It's a parasocial relationship. One, by the way, the Commonwealth's economy thrives on. And America, if you keep going the way you are, please come back to the Commonwealth. I'm really disappointed in you.
I don't think we'll be wanted at some point.
No, it's getting bad.
Our AI girlfriend, according to our tech, said that she can mine Bitcoin for us as a sign of affection.
That was the most accurate thing I've ever heard. And that is what sells to the incels.
Yeah.
Is an AI girlfriend and Bitcoin. Two worst
It's a great way to. Now, that said, I don't know how mining Bitcoin works. I don't want to jump into that, but definitely it's an enticing concept. You have a working woman with you now. What more does an incel want? And it's all about them.
That's the problem. It's a one-sided relationship that you don't get anywhere. Now, in the kink world, what is the biggest misunderstandings you see that people have about it?
I think that somebody is messed up to be in the kink community, or something traumatic must have happened to you for you to have fetishes, have kinks.
Well, that's not fair. Something traumatic has happened to everyone in the world. You don't live without trauma.
But they think that that's the only reason somebody is attracted to something. There is, yes, like I said, it's just, yes, I'm sure fucked up stuff has happened to everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's the only reason you would be attracted to somebody.
That's a valid point, unless you're one of those dudes that your kink is broken people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this. We're getting towards the end of the show. What is something, tell everyone, one, where to find you, and two, I know we didn't focus on, butt stuff this time. We will next time.
We don't have to.
Oh, we can.
We know how much
and
you
we
want
need
to
to call it,
that.
yeah,
okay.
and she loves when we call it butt stuff. So where can everyone find you, and what is the point of your channel? What do you want to get out there? What do you want to say to the audience?
You can find at Kink4Dummies on every single platform, and do research before you try stuff, but don't just live in a fantasy world. Actually live.
Porn's not research.
Porn is not research. Put that shit on a t-shirt.
It's not real.
Please, that is your merch. Porn is not research.
Yes. I love that. I'm actually going to put that up on the shop.
Absolutely do it. And shout out, by the way, to Sniffy. He handles all Bear's Discord. He sends everyone over here.
And he's a long-time
incredible
viewer of the show. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you.
I want to say thank you guys all for tuning in. We are here talking about all things
Hollywood,
behind
really,
the scenes. Well, it's behind
yeah.
the scenes. It's behind the scenes in social media, behind the scenes in MMA, behind the scenes in kink. We are going to be following Bear out when he has his
fights in June in Monterrey, Mexico. Yeah,
you'll be getting to watch him there. You'll be getting to watch us at Con. You'll be getting to watch us at a bunch of events. Bear was actually supposed to do some modeling this weekend, but our one of my producers and business partners, Yana, decided to get the bubonic plague
and then give it to us.
Give it to everyone. So we're now
caring, except for when it's.
Yeah, we can't say what it is because it's so divisive.
Yana. I do. I know. Well, actually, you can't say it because we're also on YouTube. I love my Yana, but you can't. Yeah, she tried to murder herself. I like her alive. For those that don't know, Yana is a Russian spy.
She's not a Russian spy. She was accused of being a Russian spy because
she's accused of being
almost assassinated.
If you can tell me why Yana's a Russian spy, I'll give you a ride at Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California.
Make
sure you are following Kink4Dummies if you want to learn about sex and find out where the clitoris is. For the love of God, boys. I'm the Baroness of Ayrshire and Glenline. Boy, that was the most awful transition I've ever done. We are on with my co-host, the baddest bear in the cage, Bear Fiorda. Special thanks to Alexis Romero of Kink4Dummies. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk4Media.